Hi there. Welcome to this lecture where we're going to be talking about the fair use doctrine. So we're going to be exploring the concept of fair use, which is an important exception to copyright law, which we've discussed in a prior lecture. But before we dive into fair use, we first need to understand the basics of copyrights and how they're used to protect creative works. So I'm going to start by defining what a copyright is, and then we'll go into the fair use doctrine. So let's get started. Now, a copyright is a legal protection that's granted to the creators of original works. Now, these original works can include things like books, music, art, films, as well as software. Now, copyrights basically give creators exclusive rights over the use as well as the distribution of their works, which allows them to control how their creations are shared as well as monetize those creations. Because if they're going to go through and expend the energy and the effort of creating something, it's important from a societal standpoint and from an economic standpoint that we allow individuals to benefit from those investments. Now, copyrights play a crucial role, of course, in encouraging creativity and, of course, giving incentives to artists as well as authors to produce new and original works. Now, while copyrights grant creators a great deal of control over their works, the fair use doctrine allows for certain limited uses of copyrighted materials without the permission of the copyright holder. Now, fair use is a legal principle that recognizes the importance of balance between, 1, protecting the rights of copyright holders, and also 2, promoting creativity, criticism, education, and other socially valuable activities. The fair use doctrine takes into account 4 key factors when attempting to determine whether a particular use of copyrighted material is fair or not. So first is what is known as purpose and character of the use. Now, fair use favors transformative uses that add new meaning or value to the original work. So if you simply took the entire text of The Lord of the Rings and published it in a PDF, that wouldn't inherently be anything new or transformative. You would likely be infringing on copyrighted material. Or if you recorded a movie sitting in a theater and posted it online, there is nothing new and nothing that adds value to the original work. Instead, if there was, let's say, a parody that uses some copyrighted material to create maybe a humorous critique of something, that could be considered fair use because there is an element of added value in addition to the original work. The second key factor is the nature of the copyrighted work. Now, fair use is more likely to be permitted when using factual or non-fictional works rather than highly creative or fictional works. The third element of fair use has to do with the amount and the substantiality of the portion used. So fair use is more likely to apply when using a small portion of the copyrighted work rather than the entire work itself. And lastly, we have the effect on the potential market. In order for fair use to apply, it's important that using the copyrighted work without the original creator or author's consent doesn't unfairly harm the market value or the potential market for the copyrighted work. So if a use replaces the need for people to purchase the original work, then it may not be considered fair use. Now, as you're looking at these 4 key factors, one of the things that I want to mention is that the application of fair use is rarely black and white, and in fact is highly context dependent and subject to a great deal of interpretation. So courts will typically evaluate each case on its own merits, considering the specific circumstances and weighing the 4 fair use factors that we just discussed. It's important to note that fair use is a defense, meaning that it may be raised in response to a copyright infringement claim, but it is not a guarantee that there is no copyright infringement claim. That would inherently have to be settled in the courts. But regardless, fair use enables a wide range of socially valuable activities, including criticism, commentary, education, research, as well as transformative creativity. By understanding the 4 fair use factors and applying them appropriately, we can determine whether a particular use falls under the fair use doctrine. Now remember, fair use is a very nuanced concept, and it's always best to consult legal experts when dealing with complex situations. Thank you for watching this lecture on the fair use doctrine. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.